Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 18th of August. The first important news, that is Center bans bulk sale of the SIM card. Something important to ensure that the security for the purchases and sale is taken care of. Second, that is UGC, University Grant Commission's draft guideline to recognize foreign degree. Third, that is National Education Policy 2020 is flexible and not imposed on state. This is what the Finance Minister has said during a meeting. Second last, that is drones to monitor the progress of Manrega worksite. The technology has been incorporated to ensure the part of seamless services to the Manrega workers. And the last is an editorial gaps in the Birth and Death Registration Amendment Act 2023. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming examination. So without any further ado, let's get started with the session. And before I begin, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful for examination, do hit that like button. Starting the session with the first news, that is Center ban bulk sale of the SIM card, something important for General Studies paper 2. That is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. Now, when it comes to the part of security, IT, technology, specifically mentioned in General Studies paper 3, it can be important there as well. So in a move to curb the part of fraud that is taking place when it comes to the part of uses through SIM, which is used in a mobile phone. So the union government has said that the bulk sale of SIM card will be barred, right? So individual holding 4, 5 or n number of SIMs will not be allowed. They are subject to certain verifications and only limited number 1 or 2 will be allowed. The government has mandated the registration of franchisee agents distributions point of the sale for the telecom company beside police verifications for the SIM dealers. The SIM dealers will be liable to undergo with the part of the police verification. Subject to that, they will be liable to sell out the part of the SIM purchase or SIM sell out. Now, during observations, the ministry has found that in past few months, there were a lot of SIM that was sold without any further verification and due process that must be followed. So it has a big role. Dealers in India has a big role when it comes to the part of illegitimate and illegal part of the sale of the SIMs. Now, what is the new rule? What government has incorporated in the rule? So the new rule mandates the dealers to register themselves and go through the police verifications and biometric process mandatorily. The rule will come into effect from 1st of October 2023 and the dealers will be given 6 months to register and complete the process. See, it is being implemented now. Government has made a declaration. So August, almost this is August 20, right? They have given some time to get the registration done for themselves. Now, as per the proposed rule, TSP, that is the telecom service provider, will only issue the SIM card to the registered dealers. And in case of any foul that is taking place from the telcos, they will be penalized with a fine of 10 lakh rupees on them, right? Now, cyber frauds ki agar baat kare, this is something which has taken a toll. So to reduce the part of cyber fraud performed through the fraudulent acquired SIM card, the Department of Telecommunications will now mandate the registrations and indisputable verifications of the SIM dealers. Now, according to complaints received on the telecom grievances portal, Sanchar Sarthi, this was a portal that was actually launched. ये आपके prelims के लिए भी काफी ज़्यादा important है. So government has launched to detect the part of the fraud that is taking place. And even the government has detected and deactivated 52 lakh SIMs, right, with the fraudulent activities that is taking place in the telecom sector. And the minister said that we are also blacklisting the part of 67,000 SIM and 300 FIR has been registered in this regard. So this is the part of the development that has come up when it comes to the part of fraud, cyber fraud that is taking place. Now, just to give you a data, if you look, there's a sharp increase in the cyber crime in India during the last decade. This is precisely from 2010 to 18. You can see in 2010, only 966 cases were reported. But as of now, this data is not updated. I mean, the ministry has not released the data. So as of now, it's 2018, it's 27,278. Possibly for 2023, you can count it to be on a higher than 1 lakh, right? So 1 lakh से ऊपर ही आप इसे anticipate कर सकते हैं. Now, moving to the other news, that is UGC draft guideline to reduce foreign degrees, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is issues related to development and management of education and human resources, something important. And we'll see the detailed guideline that is mentioned by the UGC. So the University Grant Commissions has released a draft guideline for the recognitions and grant of equivalence of qualifications obtained from the foreign education institutions. The UGC has actually informed that foreign universities have reached stages of setting up campuses in India's gift city. Now, on the other hand, Indian universities are collaborating with the foreign universities to offer a joint degree. Indian university acquiring qualifications from the foreign and higher education institutions through the collaboration arrangement or MOUs जो sign की गई हैं between the government of India, that is GOI, and several other universities or the state government, basically हर एक other countries के साथ, that will be taken care by the UGC in foreign counterparts and will now streamline the part for getting the degrees. Now NEP 2020 की अगर बात करें, यहाँ पे बात की गई है फॉरेन डिग्रीज के लिए एस्टैब्लिशमेंट की. अकॉर्डिंग टू द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन, द नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2022 कॉल फॉर सेवरल रिफॉर्म, जहाँ पे ग्लोबल स्टडी डेस्टिनेशंस की भी बात की गई थी ताकि क्वालिटी स्टूडेंट जो क्वालिटी स्टडीज है, क्वालिटी एजुकेशन है, उसको अफोर्डेबल प्राइस में प्रोवाइड किया जा सके फॉर द इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट. सी, फॉर एवरीवन इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल टू रीच आउट टू द फॉरेन कैंपसेस, राइट? It takes a good number of price and even hike in the accommodations part, fees. So in India, it is possible to get the part of things because centers are there that will be established in physical. बहुत सारे ऐसे सिटीज सेलेक्ट किए गए हैं. स्पेसिफिकली गिफ्ट की बात करें गुजरात में, वहाँ पे ऑफलाइन सेंटर्स बनाने की बात की गई है. और फॉर लाइक हार्वर्ड वी ऑलरेडी हैव अ सेंटर इन मुंबई. तो लैंड एंड्स मुंबई में जहाँ पे प्लेस है, वहाँ पे ऑलरेडी देयर इज अ प्लेस दैट इज, आई मीन देयर इज अ सेंटर व्हिच इज फंक्शनल. UGC has drafted an enabling regulations to provide a robust, transparent mechanism for recognizing the foreign qualifications and even granting equivalent to such qualifications. The regulations will not be applicable to the professional qualifying awarded by the foreign university institutions and discipline like medicine, pharmacy, nursing, laws and apprentice. तो खास करके अगर बात करें ऑनलाइन या फिर डिस्टेंस कोर्सेज एप्लीकेबल नहीं होंगे बहुत हद तक इन कोर्सेज में. Restrictions on the online and distance mode. This is what is a new provisions. UGC ने कहा है अपने ड्राफ्ट में that the part of recognitions will not consider that individual taking distance or online mode through any franchisee agreement, right? UGC said that granting equivalent degree to the student must be pursued through the program which call for a regular course, in-person instruction that should not be online or distance mode, right? तो मिनिमम क्रेडिट रिक्वायरमेंट की जरूरत पड़ेगी. देयर शुड बी अ minimum duration that has to be followed and evaluation process, that is something, these three things need to be devised out to ensure that an individual has taken the degree from the particular foreign university. The draft norm also recognizes the qualifications obtained from the offshore campuses and the higher education institutions with more flexibility to the students. Now, online portal for applications भी रखी गई है. Dedicated online portal to receive the applications for granting equivalent qualification services for the foreign university will be decided as smooth for the students of Indian setup according to the UGC. और ये equivalent certificates जो होंगी that will certify the part of party and qualifications between the foreign qualifications awarded to the Indian board or university at this same level. Now, certificates will be valid for the admissions to Indian universities or employment for the purpose. Now, moving ahead, NEP 2020 flexible, not imposed on the state, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is issues related to development and management of education and human resources. So, Finance Minister has recently made a statement where she has categorically stated that the part of the National Education Policy, that is NEP 2020, is something which is flexible in nature and does not impose obligations to the state. The center is not forcing state to implement. This is something which is flexible in nature. But ultimately, when center is coming, because part of education is on the concurrent list, so states को follow करनी होती है. The minister said that the state can adopt the part of policy according to their requirement. There can be a little tweak as per the state policies of education. NEP is flexible policy. It is something that the center decide and impose on all the states. Now, in a broader framework, the state can adopt it accordingly as per their requirements. Now, education in mother tongue की बात की गई है. This was something that was a main core essence of the national education policy. The national education policies have put emphasis on educations in mother tongue और local language में भी promotions की बात की गई है. This is there always to discuss the part of the policy. Most states have agreed for the part of Indian languages, incorporating their state languages in the studies. Now, there's some states which do not want the third languages, and the teachers will be encouraged to adopt a bilingual approach for the students who would encourage that could be different from the medium of instructions. If you look at the part, major heads की अगर बात करें NEP में, first is focusing on skill development, increasing inclusivity in the early education, focus on open and distance learning, establishment of NRF, emphasizing on the part of multidisciplinary educations, multi-entry and exit point, continuous and holistic assessment, medium of teaching and learning of the educations will be also taken care of. Now, the other news, drone to monitor progress of Manrega worker site, something important for General Studies paper 2. That is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So the Union Ministry for Rural Development will be pressing the part of drone services to monitor the quality assessment of the work site and to ensure that this is actually implemented in the Manrega sites. There are several complaints with regards to the corruption taking place in Manrega work, and there are also the cases of not getting the fund or not getting the part of the payment wages in time. So the complete monitoring will take place. Now, types of monitoring की अगर बात करें according to the standard operating procedures, better known as SOPs. तो इस SOP के through recently Ministry has come up with a plan that they will be implementing in 4 types of monitoring. The first call for surveying the ongoing work. So this will be a real-time basis. Second is inspecting the completed work. Third will be impact assessment. And last but not least is the special inspections in the case of complaints. Significance की अगर बात करें, see, whenever technology is implemented in any part of the work of the government process, definitely call for an efficiency. So drone will be separately helping in the cases where real-time monitoring of the garnering grievances and evidences will be taken care of. Or standard operating procedures की बात करें, it will stipulate the part of drone that will be used for the ombudsman person in every district. They were responsible for registering the sewer motor cases or complaint, disposing it within 30 days. So this is a time frame duration within which the cases has to be disposed of. In this direction, the state government to provide facility to ombudsman as a part as needed. Now moving to the editorial of the day, gaps in the Birth and Death Registration Amendment Act 2023, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementation. So we'll see the details. So what I'll be discussing under the editorial, first the theme of this editorial is about the Birth and Death Registration Amendment Act 2023. We'll look into the part where registration of the Birth Death Act 1969 की बात करेंगे. This was a policy that was actually functional. Objective क्या है इस amendment की? Building database is a main big thing that the government is doing, and certifications of the cause of death. Now, Lok Sabha ने recently registration of Bill and Death Amendment Bill pass किया है to introduce a significant shift towards the digital birth certificates. Now, Registration of Birth and Death Act 1969 की अगर बात करें, this provided for compulsory registrations of the birth and death under a uniform law across the country. registration of birth or death की बात करें, this is there in the concurrent list, right? Giving the power both to the parliament and state legislature to make law on the subject, right? As on 2019, the national level of registration of the birth was 93% or death की अगर बात करें, this was 92%. The Law Commission in 2018 has recommended the inclusion of marriage registration in the registration of birth and death in 1969 onwards. Objectives की अगर बात करें, I mean from the part of the main objective, it calls that the statement of objective and reason were attached. तो बेसिकली कोशिश ये की गई है to create a national and state level database for the registered birth and death, which was helping the part of updating other database, resulting in efficient and transparent delivery of public services and social benefits. Now, building database, this will definitely call for building up the database that government will actually be using for other policies measure. So the bill will compulsory take into consideration where Registrar General of India will maintain the national database, चाहे वो birth की हो, death की हो, the chief registrars of birth and death will be taken, और हर एक states में ये database record की जाएंगी with the registrations, right? Now these database to be provided with updated national population register और आधार डेटाबेस भी अपडेट की जाएगी, इलेक्टोरल रोल, राशन कार्ड, पासपोर्ट्स एंड अदर डेटाबेस at national level will be notified. Now in case of birth, the amendment provided for the collections of Aadhaar number for the parents as well. The national database is going to be collected for the state level database, and the Registrar General of India need to specify the standard of data structure and the transfer protocol. Now, certificate of the cause of death की अगर बात करें, this is something which is mandatorily required to report. So with regard to the facility which is available, state government को भी सारे death के जो certificates है वो issue करने होते हैं. A medical practitioner is authorized to issue that, right? तो कोई भी deceased person को अगर certificate चाहिए, then he has to reach out to a practitioner. And in the area where the certificate is issued, it is mandatorily given to an individual. अगर किसी भी मेडिकल इंस्टीट्यूशंस में डेथ हुई है तो उसी समय उसको उसी हॉस्पिटल से ही डेथ सर्टिफिकेट दी जाती है. द अमेंडमेंट मेक इट कंपलसरी फॉर ऑल डेथ्स इन मेडिकल इंस्टीट्यूशंस विद द कॉज ऑफ डेथ सर्टिफिकेट, रजिस्टर्स ऑफ द birth and death of a copy certificate provided at the close relatives. Now some concern that has been highlighted, अगर डेथ की रिपोर्टिंग की बात करें, कुछ ऐसे और चैलेंजेस हैं जो एग्जिस्ट हो सकते हैं. फर्स्ट अगर बात करें medical practitioners की, may not be arrived at the definite diagnostic before the person died, तो उस केस में किस तरह से एग्जामिनेशन होगी. दूसरी बात की गई है कि अगर किसी की डेथ एक्चुअल में जो WHO के रिकमेंडेशंस हैं जहाँ पे एलोपैथिक डॉक्टर्स आर टेकन इनटू कंसिडरेशन, बट समवन डिजीज इज हैंडलिंग बाय आयुष, जो कि आयुर्वेदा, योगा, नेचुरोपैथी, यूनानी, सिद्धा, सोवर एंड होम्योपैथी के थ्रू ट्रीटमेंट हो रही है, तो क्या उस कंडीशंस में किस तरह से डेथ के जो रिपोर्टिंग है वो एड्रेस की जाएगी, हु विल बी द इशूइंग अथॉरिटी ऑफ द सर्टिफिकेट्स. Now third is a person under the treatment for certain disease can die early or different outside of the medical facilities when the medical practitioners are not available in consultation. How the practitioners are expected to issue the certificate of that, because out of hospital institutions they are actually treating, तो उस केस में कौन issue करेगा certificate को. Now fourth, that is section 17 of the acts prohibit the inclusions of the death. In case of any certificate issues, it has now to be said that the cause of death certificate should be given to the relatives of the deceased person, right? So these are contrary on the part of the cause of the death, and the death register is taken into the form of certificate issued by the medical practitioners only, right? So let's see how government will be implementing. If required, there will be some minor changes essentially to fulfill the requirement. Now the way forward, it is provided with the birth certificates along with the accepted of the proof that the birth of many purposes such as school admissions, issues of passport, issues of Aadhaar number will be taken into consideration. This may not require any part of the act. This would be possible to achieve through the amendment in the rule relating to the database even for the executions orders. The objective of the national state database or the register birth helping out updating the important database seems to be a distant opinion. So this is how the things will function, and this particular amendment that has been brought in is to ensure that a proper database for the RGI, that is the Registrar General of India and the Registrar General of States, are actually maintaining the database, right? So this is all about the part of the discussion. Now Moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day, before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option was C. For second option, the correct option was B. Today's MCQ for practice, आपको बताना है PM दक्ष के बारे में. It was launched by Home Affairs in 2021. It action plan for the marginalized section है C, OBCs, EBs, DNTs के लिए है. तो आपको correct option choose करना है. Second is about the Akash missile. It has a range of 25 kilometers, simultaneously engaging the target of all weather conditions. It was introduced in 2014 और Air Force ने 2015 में induct किया था. So check out for the correct option. This type of question is specifically important for CAPF personnel जो कि CAPF के exams में appear करेंगे. Right? So this was all about for the part of discussion with the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other queries about admissions, test series, courses, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.